Venom and Smoke podcast, you heard me?
And like that, I'm back. This is your boy Mo Young on the Venom and Smoke podcast. And you can still see my green screen still tripping, so maybe we're gonna roll what we did last night. But if you want to know why I'm not wearing my Saints gear or my Saints chain or Saints hat, it's the reason why my Hurricanes lost. So I'm honoring my bet. I got my Bullet Club shirt with my Pistons hat on, but here come one of the reasons why I can't wear any Saints thing, and there's Brandon. Oh my God, he got taken back off of this Green Bay Packers.
Hey, it feels nice to be undefeated, but I thought Nasty was gonna be on, so I had to make sure I ain't catch COVID or nothing.
You was like me the other day.
Yeah, make sure I got Derrick Henry on my fantasy teams, but
oh man, the stiff arm heard around the world, man. Everybody's seeing that stiff arm. Nasty should be joining pretty soon. Knowing him, he always late, so he'll be all right. Nasty will be joining in.
Hopefully his mouth ain't swollen today.
But how did you do this week in fantasy?
I did pretty solid. I lost in the one that we're in together, my first loss of the season, but they have me as the most underperforming team or whatever. So that's fine. I can live with that.
They had you the most underperforming team, but they had the worst coach was Nasty. His coach was nasty. The blowout champ was here. The blowout king right here. and I had like the best quarterback, best I think it was not wide receiver, running back. I had a great time this week kicking ass for the dude who gave you Alvin Kamara. That's why I went so hard this week because he has his brains beat in for giving you Alvin Kamara, and that's if y'all don't know, that's us on our we're in a dynasty league together, and me, Nasty, and Brandon, and Brandon's the champ in that league. So we all gunning for him. I got 2 in a row right now, so I'm on the roll right now. I had to get back in the swing of things.
I mean, even if I don't win it this year, I got 6 first-round picks for next year. So,
and yeah, 2 of them are mine. Well, I had 2. I traded you 1. That was a good trade. And the dude tried to trade me back the same. Like, I'm just saying, and the dude traded my pick to you, and then tried to trade me back DJ Chalk. I'm like, well, dude, I just gave you DJ Chalk. I don't want him back. I'm like, so that basically would have been like a trade. He just gave you a number 1 for nothing. That's what it would have been. I'd have got Thielen for giving up a number 1 pick for Thielen. Mostert did his thing last week. He did his thing.
Yeah, no.
I need to run it back there.
I'm a huge fan of his, and like now this week I'm like, damn, because Kamara's on bye, so
Trust
All
me.
I have is
I got a
Jonathan
couple Saints on my
Taylor.
team. Got 3. So they hurt. So I know.
Well, my big money league, I had the one that I traded for Mike Thomason.
Oh yeah.
I got him on bye, but I got Julio, Allen Robinson, and Robbie Anderson. So I'm not sweating it.
Oh no, man! I just want to give a shout out to Brett. Brett, I know you're watching, man. Good morning, Vietnam. Well, that's my boy Brett. We're talking about fighting Brock Lesnar. He was on the show last night. That's my boy. That's our, I guess our number one fan on all shows. He don't care. But besides, what was your fantasy football highlight of Week 5, man? That's like made you like, whoa, like. Act the dog. Who act the dog for you in fantasy football? Not just for you, but just in general. Like,
Okay, I was really sad because in one of my dynasty leagues, I had Chase Claypool, Brandon Cooks, and Mike Williams all on my bench.
What? wait, what?
All 3 were on my bench, and I lost.
Repeat them again. You had Cooks, Claypool, and who else?
Mike Williams with 27.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm a Saints fan. I played Mike Williams in all my leagues. I had Mike Williams. I said, because we cannot cover the deep ball. I can do it. That's all he know how to run is deep ball and post. And Mike Williams went 8 shit.
I started Justin Jefferson, who had been going off the last few weeks. So I was like, why not? And then and they were playing Seattle, who has no defense.
Yeah.
So I started him. Stephon Diggs did his thing, and then I had Brandon Ayuk in my flex spot.
And didn't do shit.
No, because he scored a touchdown the last 2 weeks. So I was like, all right.
Damn, you struck out on 3. That's 3 strikes. That like Claypool, like I know a lot of people about to jump on the Claypool train because he that's 4 touchdowns.
He's actually reminding me of Martavis Bryant, but more skilled.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is always going to have a wide receiver. I don't know how they find them, but there's always a receiver coming out of nowhere. Like Antonio Brown came out of nowhere. You can see Juju for a spell that came out of nowhere, but he was known. I say he was known, but nobody expected Juju to do what Juju was doing, though.
No, I knew he was gonna be a star when he was in college. He just had that look, like that man just caught everything. He was nasty.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but nobody. Well, maybe Juju was the only one lately, but they get Brian,
Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace. Like nobody knew who they were.
Yeah, it's just they always finding stuff out there in Pittsburgh, and even Deontay Johnson sometimes he jumps off the screen. Sometimes you just never know.
It's on Toledo or Tulsa. I think it's Toledo.
One of those schools is just it's.
No, it starts with a T.
Oh, what up, La, man? That's our host from the wrestling show, man. Thanks for watching. But Deontay Johnson, he somebody tried to want me to trade Devin Singletary for him. I'm like, nah, I'm not about to do that, man. Like, he's like the third option, man. Like, I'm not about to trade the number 1 running back for a third option. Like
coming into the season, he was the number 2. But
yeah, number 2. But Claypool is clearly about to take over that number 2 spot. It's
look like he coming for that number 1 spot.
Well, I think Juju is a better number 2 than he is a number 1. I think he thrived better as a number 2. But Claypool looked like, ooh. I was like, ooh. I was looking at that, just looking at the highlights on Sunday. I was like, oh, damn. He scored again. Also, who also shocked me was Slayton for the Giants. He he just I ain't think a giant receiver, but he just catches long passes from from Daniel Jones. Like, so it's like Slayton is a good flex play. Like, man, like I thought I'd hear about a giant receiver being there, but
Another guy I thought about picking up right before the games kicked off was Travis Fulgham. And then, of course, he
yeah.
popped off for over 30. But I had watched him. I watched him the week before against Detroit, I believe it was, that Philly was playing. And I seen him catch like a deep ball. And I only know his name because we picked him up and he was on our practice squad for like a week, and then we cut him. And then, of course, he goes to Philly, and he's the greatest receiver of all time.
What's up with y'all practice squad players going to other places and going off? like y'all got a history of y'all practice squad players, like especially in Saints land, coming to us and popping off.
I mean, we had Taysom Hill. He never reached our practice squad, but he was like one of our last round of cuts, and we thought we were gonna be able to sneak him onto our practice squad. And y'all were like, "No, we gonna sign him." But
Aaron Brooks.
It was him, Aaron Brooks. You got Mark Brunell, Kurt Warner, Matt Hasselbeck, and that's just quarterbacks.
Yeah, y'all have an eye for talent, but y'all don't keep them on y'all team. And it's just like y'all needed a wide receiver. Why did y'all let him go?
I don't know. I think it's because my prediction coming into the season was that they were going to use Tyler Ervin as a slot receiver, which they kind of have. But they mainly just use him as like kind of like a distraction with his motion. So I don't know. He gets a lot of like end arounds, and sometimes I'll throw him a bubble screen or whatever the case is. But they mainly have Jamal Williams or Aaron Jones go deep if they line up a receiver. But
yeah, and
I don't know. I think they're just that confident in their running back group that they're just like, we don't really need another guy. I assume we're going to draft the receiver in this draft because
hopefully
this draft is supposed to be stronger than the draft that we just had.
And this might be in this draft we just had might have been the best receiving core that came out in a long while. Like everybody's going off.
The best I had ever seen was 2014, and that was the one that had Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Devontae Adams, Sammy Watkins was in that one. There was a lot of really good players in that 14 draft.
Yeah, but people saying this the one has the potential to wolf that just off of.
Yeah, but if you look at it though, I mean, like if you look at Henry Ruggs, like all he's good at, he's just a good deep ball player. I mean, yeah, he had a nice catch this week, but other than that, he hasn't done shit all season.
Judy.
Yeah, Judy's solid. I mean, he has the potential to be just another Amari Cooper.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb is a dog.
Yeah, he's a problem.
I knew before the draft. I was like, he looked just like DeAndre Hopkins when he goes out there.
And then, of course, Justin Jefferson, finding his footing with Kirk Cousins. So it's
Claypool.
It's a good receiving core. So we'll see if they can turn into those stars that the 14 draft did. So who was your players to start? Because, this is the bye week. They got some strong teams on the bye week this week. So, fantasy-wise anyway, there's a lot of people struggling with buys this weekend, and with COVID changing stuff and changing matchups. So kind of been trying to tricky to navigate this year.
Yeah, so I'll say are we starting off with quarterback or just whoever?
Yeah, we can start off with quarterbacks.
So quarterback, I've seen Matt Stafford available in a lot of leagues. I believe they're playing Philly this week, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Matt Stafford versus Philly. I think that's a good matchup. as far as
I'm
quarterbacks
pulling up
go.
the games
Or,
right now.
and if you're desperate, I mean, uh, I hope Dak gets better as soon as possible.
Whew, yeah,
Good
that
dude,
was pretty
good
nasty,
dude.
and that hurt me in one of my leagues.
Yeah, but I would say pick up Andy Dalton. He's been a starter throughout his career, and he's never had these weapons that he has now. So, um, he looked pretty good the other day when he brought them back against the
I'm
Giants.
sorry,
So,
the Lions play
I'd say,
Jacksonville this week. They play Jacksonville.
oh yeah,
Stafford,
even better,
Jackson.
even better. So Stafford for sure. Andy Dalton, if you're really desperate in a deeper league. Um, yeah, that's what I do at quarterback. I'm sure Fitzpatrick is taken in most leagues.
I'm just saying, if you this quarterback you should have on your squad, Kyler Murray, you better start him against Dallas. Like you better start him against Dallas because Dallas couldn't cover you if it was a call a blanket. Like they can't cover that. They can't cover anybody. They can't stop a nosebleed, as Bart Scott once said. You
If you
gotta
put me on
go.
the field, I'm gonna be out there like Jason Witten. But
I'm just saying, I'll be
I
up there
don't
looking
know
like
about
Randy
that.
Moss on them, man. One handed catches, all kind of stuff on them. They can't cover anybody. They had Daniel Jones looking like a problem out there. So my
Yeah,
thing
but they
is,
also have the
anybody who
Giants
plays,
defense looking like a problem.
yeah. And I'm saying, this is my thing. Anybody who plays Dallas, Philly, the Saints, I'm gonna say, like for fantasy wise, uh, who else? Who else is trash? Jacksonville,
The
stuff
Bengals.
like that. Play your quarterbacks that does that because the Saints can't cover anybody, but they're on the bye week this week. So that's the only time they're gonna stop somebody. It's on the bye week because we're only gonna win games if we outscore people. So like I said, Dallas is pretty horrible on defense. So Kyler Murray should be a safe bet on Monday night. Should be a safe bet. And then stay away from the Sunday night game if it's quarterbacks because maybe the Rams you might do golf because still got people hurt with Frisco. So this might be the
Well,
last time you can take advantage of Frisco.
I think San Francisco is going to be vulnerable all year. They don't have Nick Bosa applying that pressure, and then they lost Buckner to the Colts in that trade. And they brought in Kinlaw, but he's just a rookie at this point. And they lost Solomon Thomas, and they lost Izigi Ansah, who they brought in to replace Bosa. So
Yeah,
they don't have the greatest pass rush. They have really good linebackers, but then they also have Richard Sherman, who's out too. So
this might
and
be the time.
With Jimmy G throwing the ball to the other team left and right. You saw what Miami did to them. They beat them like what 40 to
Yeah,
17 or something like that, 40 to 10.
yeah.
Like it wasn't.
Shout out to my boy Zam who started Jimmy G. His league.
I got somebody this week too who had Jimmy G.
negative,
They didn't
negative.
even put
He
up
like
70 on.
negative 4 points.
Yeah,
And then
they didn't
also
even put up 70.
you got to start Aaron Rodgers playing the Bucks. Got to start Aaron Rodgers playing the Bucks. They can't cover either. They got a good linebacking core, but they can't cover. They cannot.
Yeah,
So,
what's funny about that is I guess Devin White was quoted yesterday telling his defensive coordinator to unleash him. But
oh Lord,
the
Rodgers
problem
threw
is
for 600 yards.
when you blitz Rodgers, he's one of the best at the game at taking advantage of it, and that ain't gonna end up well for him or the team.
What's your thought on Teddy Bridgewater going against the Bears this week? Will he keep that high streak going, or will he come back down to earth?
I think that'll be a close game, but I don't think either quarterback is gonna pop off. I think it'll be like a 21-20 or like a 20-23 type of game.
I just want to tell Saints fans, I told you so. This dude been somebody arguing me down. Him and Drew Brees has the same, like, they similar numbers. Teddy got more yards. Drew threw less interceptions by 1. And the QBR basically the same. I said, so we basically kept. So you telling me Drew Brees is now Teddy Bridgewater? So why not just keep Teddy Bridgewater, who's younger? I told y'all so. I told you so. And people like there's Saints fans who's applauding Brees, talking about, oh my God, he's doing so good. I'm like, he's Teddy Bridgewater.
Well,
Who can't throw deep.
The thing that actually pops out to me, so I was watching James Jones last week before the Bears and the Buccaneers game. He was talking about Tom Brady because Pat McAfee had him on the show and was asking him, you know, who do you think is going to win this game? And he's like, you know, I was a Packer and I never want to root for the Bears. He was like, but I think the Bears are going to win this game because when you look at Tom Brady's numbers, they're the exact same as Jameis Winston's were last year. So when you bring up Teddy Bridgewater to Drew Brees, that's why that comparison popped into my head.
Yeah, they don't get it. It's like, if I want to bring back Drew Brees, I need him to be Drew Brees. If we already have Teddy Bridgewater, let's develop Teddy Bridgewater. Because Teddy Bridgewater right now has more upside than Drew Brees.
But the only thing I will say is he hasn't had Mike Thomas yet. I mean, he had him for a little bit in week 1, but
I'm like, you got to hope Mike Thomas to catch, you know, aka Slant Boy that got him mad. You know, you got to hope all he can throw is a slant to him. Like, he had to do a running start, like a running throw to get that ball out 40 yards. Shit was on. I'm like, we good for 1 40-yard bomb a game from Drew Brees. It's and that's why I say Teddy Bridgewater is becoming a fantasy option. It is making the decision look worse. Because at first people thought, oh, this is going to run to Christian McCaffrey. This is going to run him. They're going to run. And Christian McCaffrey get hurt, and Teddy Bridgewater just go crazy.
Well, it's
throwing
not
the ball
him,
down.
I mean, Mike Davis is all of a sudden a fantasy superstar. Like, I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
I did not want him. I didn't want Teddy Bridgewater to go nowhere in the division because I'm like, shit, we got to deal with this twice. And it's like Carolina always play us tough. Next game they play us against Carolina. Let's pray that the defense get fixed.
As long as Thomas and Kamara go off, I don't care what happens in that game.
Yeah, you know, I got Thomas in the league. Somebody trying to trade me garbage for Thomas. Like Kenyon Drake and it was Kenyon Drake and Jay Crowder for Michael Thomas with no first round picks. I laughed in his face. It's the same guy who keeps trying to trade with me. I'm like, man, look, you coming at me for stuff. You got to give up something to get something.
So it's funny. He used to be my supervisor. He'll try to snake anybody.
Yeah, he's gonna snake me.
I think what's happening is everybody's mad because I got all these picks. So they're like, oh shit. Well, let's see who'll be the next person to, like, you know,
get to give up picks. Deal. I don't have any picks. I try to tell him I don't have any picks left. I got a 3rd round pick in the draft.
He don't have any picks either.
Yeah, so I'm like, you don't have nothing really to offer me besides CD Lamb, bro. Like, you're not going to give up CD Lamb and Clyde. He's not going to give up Clyde and CD Lamb for Michael Thomas. So I'm not even worrying about it. Michael Thomas off the table. I said, if you give me something that blows me away, I'll give away Michael Thomas. That's for anybody in that league.
Yeah. The thing about him, he's an Oklahoma fan. So that's what I offered him before the season. I offered him Hollywood Brown for DJ Moore, but he was like, well, let me just wait till the season, make sure Hollywood's ankle comes back good, and then the season.
He's still getting Hollywood Brown. Still not getting him anyway.
Yeah, he didn't end up getting him. But I saw DJ Moore, and I was just like, well, Robbie Anderson's the number one in this offense.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, it did. I don't know. I sent them a counter offer for. I'll give him Singletary for DJ Moore. Hey, I'll give you that.
I think that's fair both ways.
Yeah, it's fair. I'm not. You're not about to snake me, man. Look, I got my team so what fighting shape because I was averaging like 80, 90 in the league, and I'm like, man, I got to make some moves, even though they're drastic. And then next week, 150. So I'm like, cool. I'm good. That's a good jump. I just want to be competitive, man. Like, shit. I'm playing 2022 in the draft. I'm not worrying about the 21 draft because that's going to be the Brandon show. It's going to be Brandon. Brandon going to have so many picks. So can't keep them all. So I'm just going to be on the waiver wire looking for all the people you got to drop. That's my,
the thing is, once I get the guys that I want, then I'm gonna start. All right, there's nobody left that I really need for my team. All right, hey, I give you the first round pick, but I'm gonna need Mike Thomas. Which is, come on,
I'm gonna laugh.
Hand him over.
And who else?
Hand him over.
I'm gonna say who else?
I'm gonna like, I give you a first and a third. Mike
I
Thomas,
need Mike. I need Mike to come out like crazy so I can get some money, so I can get something for him. Like I'll trade him if I get something for him. But it seems like everybody want Mike Thomas. They're coming at me for Mike Thomas. So I'm like, I need Mike to go crazy so his stock can be way up.
What's happening is everybody's trying to buy low because they think, obviously, with this practice issues, punching people in the face, arguing with the coach. Now he's getting fined. Then you got to buy.
I'm a Saints fan.
Yeah, so I think what's going on is most of those people in there, they don't know you, so they don't know you're a Saints fan. So
yeah, I'm close to the action. I know. I'm trying to get Kamara for you. I try to give you Thomas for Kamara, bro. I'm trying to go hard. I'm like, shit, I need to get Kamara from him. I was saying this last year, man. I'm like, I need to get Kamara from this dude, man. I need to get it from him. Because I know once Kamara get paid, he going off. Because I knew Kamara was hurt. So you got Kamara when he was low. I'm like, man, because he was hurt. I'm like, I was telling people this all the time. Kamara hurt. I said, when he get healthy, you see what's going on. MVP candidate. But let's go running back since, Kamara's not playing this week. You know what I'm saying? You're not playing.
Well, I would say the most important pickup at running back this week would be Alexander Madison if he's on your waivers, just because of Dalvin Cook went out with a groin injury, and then Madison went off for 100 yards rushing after that. So
Madison looking pretty good.
Yeah, so he would be the most important waiver wire pickup. And
they play Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's enough said. And I also would,
Go ahead.
Yeah, they play Atlanta. But Boone is a nice change of pace back. And Madison look like he can get paid. So he gonna get paid when this stuff over because Madison are like the real deal.
Yeah.
And then also whoever the Ravens running back playing Philly, go ahead. They might as well because Philly defense is Swiss cheese. You don't know what they gonna get.
See, I was very high on J.K. Dobbins coming into the season. I thought he was going to play the Alvin Kamara role to Mark Ingram, but that offense just doesn't look right. The offense just doesn't look right this year. Lamar's not hitting his passes. Lamar's also not running it as much. So that's significantly impacting his fantasy production. I got 13 points out of him this week. I was like,
I saw you put him on the trade. I saw you put him on the trade.
I mean, I'm not trading him unless I get some Godfather type of offer.
But give you Michael Thomas. I don't need him though because I got Pat Mahomes though, so it's like I don't need him. So I ain't gonna reach for him.
I was about to say I consider that. Consider that.
Maybe I see. I'm looking at the Washington New York game. Whoever the running back for Washington is, I guess. I don't know who's the lead back. They changed it up
Washington.
once.
It's Antonio Gibson, but I guess maybe high risk, high reward type of player this week would be J.D. McKissick, just because he's their pass catching back now. I think he's had a few 10-point performances in a row now.
Start Robinson from Jacksonville because they played Detroit. If y'all didn't see the Saints game against Detroit, Detroit cannot defend the run. So go with the Jacksonville running back this week with Robinson. He should get you some points because they can't. They're weak up the middle. Detroit is weak. And of course, Indy, with Taylor should go off against the Bengals. And I'm trying to see anybody else. Okay, Arizona. Like I say, Dallas is weak in every form and fashion of. So Drake should be a factor this week.
I actually think the play from Arizona is Chase Edmonds.
No, yeah, one of them.
He's starting to steal a lot of touches from Kenyon Drake, and he's definitely their pass catching back, and he vultures a lot of touchdowns when Drake is down the field on him. So
also, of course, you start Derrick Henry against Houston. If anybody didn't see what Derrick Henry did last night, it's all over Twitter. R.I.P. Josh Norman.
The most disrespectful part is, so it was two of them. First one, they had him getting thrown out the house by Uncle Phil. And then the second one, they had Stone Cold doing a Stone Cold Stunner on him. And
the one I saw was the elbow off the top rope. That was the one that got me. They had him doing like a Shawn Michaels elbow off the top rope.
And people are just wild.
Man, you don't stop starting Derrick Henry. And then that's it for running backs. Because everybody else well, of course, Aaron Jones. You start all those. Trying to find people that you really don't start.
Yeah, that's why I'm just going with like somebody who I pick up off of waivers.
Yeah. And maybe Connor against Cleveland. With the Pittsburgh. He's somebody probably be on a lot of people benches and stuff. So it's really even matchups this week for running backs. You can stretch and play Clyde, man. Clyde Edwards-Helaire against Buffalo, but I don't know. Buffalo might be coming back pissed off. So that's on Monday night.
I think.
Monday day.
I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire was very overrated. Just he cannot score a touchdown to save his life. And
they're talking about Le'Veon Bell going to the Chiefs.
Yeah, when they get to the red zone, he goes backwards every time. I was reading the other day, he's had 7 carries at the goal line and 0 touchdowns. And it's just like, this is the guy that you guys were hyping up as a top 10 player in the draft? Like, no. So,
and the thing is, they chose him over Taylor.
Yeah. Which that's who I thought they were taking too, and I was like, he's gonna be a perfect fit there because then nobody's gonna be loading up the box on him, and he's gonna run for 2,000 yards.
They went Helaire, and I'm like, why? He was sharing the carries at LSU, but he had that great game when he came out.
I think that's what it is, though. A lot of these coaches and general managers now, I feel like a lot of them, they don't actually do the homework anymore. I feel like they're just like, oh, yeah, he was in the national championship. He did his thing. All right, we'll sign him.
He was a good second. He could have been a second round, but he's not. He should be the first back off the board with Taylor's there. Looking like Robinson
Taylor,
should have been drafted.
Swift. Yeah,
Swift.
Taylor's. Yeah.
They got people who are going over him because at first he looked like he was going to be the next coming that first game, and then it just fell apart. That first game after Houston, it fell apart. So
Yeah.
you're going to go ahead on the swing to wide receivers now, though, since, it's not that, everybody who you would start like this week. It's not like any surprise starts like that many, but wide receiver.
Well, I would say obviously you want to hit those waiver wires because Chase Claypool is probably out there in most leagues.
Nah, he's probably gone now. He's gone.
Well, I don't know because some leagues the waivers don't go through till tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm in one of those leagues like that.
Yeah, because of the Tuesday night game. So, yeah, and then
A lot of Yahoo leagues like that.
Brandon Cooks. Not a lot of people had Brandon Cooks. I had dropped him in one of my leagues because he was just straight garbage the beginning of the season, and now he pops off at 30. So maybe stash him on your bench. And then Fulgham. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey's still out. Deshaun Jackson, all he is a deep ball threat, and Fulgham looks like he's actually startable. So if you need a flex this week with the buys,
yeah, it's I'm looking at it. Brandon Cooks. I know him from Saints days. He's a boom or bust guy. Like either he's gonna go for 30 or he's going for 0. It's no in between with him. It's like either you're gonna get minimum or you're gonna get the maximum from him. It's when he goes off, he goes off. It's just the fact of catching him going off, and that's the hardest part. And I would say some of these Miami receivers like Preston Williams, he finally went off. They playing the Jets, so look at Preston Williams with the Dolphins. They're gonna throw it. he gonna throw it. Fitzmagic gonna throw the ball. So, and the Jets don't look like they can cover anybody either. So and then any Green Bay receiver. I don't know if Adams coming back yet, but Scanlon going off. We get Tongue in it, or you count them in there, receivers, tight end. Tongue, whatever, all of them. So anybody available.
That's how I was about to. That's how I was about to say for tight ends is if Robert Tonyan's still out there.
Yeah, I was able to get him.
That might be your sneaky play of the week.
3 touchdowns, man. Like he's gonna get it.
Well, he actually leads the league in receiving touchdowns. He leads the whole league with 5.
Man, he got 5. He got 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then
1 on Detroit, 3 on
probably 1 on us.
Yeah, I believe he did have 1 on y'all, but he had 3 on Atlanta. So yeah, that was his 5.
Any Minnesota wide receiver, start him. that goes for Thielen, Jefferson, or it's Johnson, whoever else you can get because they play Atlanta. So it's going. Kirk Cousins is going to. It's going to be an interception fest because it's Kirk Cousins versus Matt Ryan. Kirk Cousins going to throw the football. So
yeah,
and they playing in Minnesota, so it didn't matter. They're playing Atlanta anyway.
I mean they're both dome teams, so I think both sets of receivers will go off because both teams have garbage defenses. So I mean, if you have really a Julio, you're not gonna bench them no matter what, unless you're in a situation like me where you got Julio, Mike Thomas, Allen Robinson, and Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, robbing the league.
Yeah, at that point, then you're just going off of matchups. But yeah,
of course, you're gonna play Claypool this week. Yeah, he's playing again. You know, if you're gonna pick him up, you might as well play him. They're playing Cleveland. It's not like Cleveland is a defensive stalwart. They're gonna give up some points. They've been winning They've been winning, but it's not like they've been blowing people out and stopping people. So, only thing, even Dallas went off on them. So, Dallas went off on them, and somebody else went off on them. So, you can go Claypool or Juju.
They did a good job shutting down Phillip Rivers this week, though.
It's Phillip Rivers. That's another one of these dead-on quarterbacks that need to retire. It's 3 in the league. One play for my team. The other is Tom Brady, and the other one is Phillip Rivers. They all need to go. There's nobody left in their class, I don't think. Like in their draft class, still playing. I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody in Phillip Rivers draft class. Well, Roethlisberger is in that one, but it's another one you can put in there too.
And then the next year was Rodgers and Alex Smith, who I think are the only 2 left.
It's like
Alex
Phillip
Smith.
Rivers not hard to shut down.
Something I found kind of disturbing today was that he was sacked on 25% of his dropbacks in his first game back from that leg injury. He dropped back 24 times. 24 times, he got sacked 6 times. Like, I saw one of the plays where Aaron Donald beat the guard so fast that he was behind Alex Smith. Like, Alex Smith was still trying to get the ball from the center. And
Aaron Donald had
just
a game.
Jumped on his back. Yeah, he just jumped on his back and just, like, fell to the ground with him. And I was just like, oh, okay, at least he didn't snap his leg again.
Try to hurt him.
Like, yeah, but
I just want to tell the Redskins or wherever they are, the football team, like, y'all did Haskins wrong, bro. The dude had a game, and y'all wait till you have a game to bench him. I don't get that. He had many mediocre games, but the dude threw for 300 yards.
No. He was very bad in his last start. He threw
I thought he played the Ravens. When he played the Ravens, I thought he had like 300 yards. And that's when they benched him after the Ravens game. He had 300 yards against the Ravens. He had his best game ever, and then they benched him.
He might have had 300 yards, but he had 300 interceptions too.
Like, no, he actually had a good thing. He actually had a good game. The damn defense couldn't stop nobody. Lamar Jackson and then went crazy. That's the last time he went crazy against them. And it was like the defense didn't stop anybody, and they wait for him to have his best game, and they bench him. At least could have made him quarterback 2. They made him quarterback 3. I'm like, if you're gonna have Alex Smith come back,
the intention from the start was to have Alex Smith come in this year.
Yeah,
I think that's what it really came down to.
You don't throw Alex Smith in.
However they
Wolves.
However they wanted to sugarcoat it, Alex Smith was their guy. They're still paying him that monster contract. So,
I'm just saying, you don't throw Alex Smith in against the Rams with Aaron Donald. That's a bad game. Like, I'll just let Haskins get sacrificed again, I guess, and maybe I will bring him in this week.
So Haskins didn't play this week because he was sick. That came out after the fact, but he was sick, so he wasn't even active. So they started Kyle Allen, and when Kyle Allen got hurt, that's why Alex Smith played.
Well, this is the game to play Alex Smith, playing against the Giants. So might actually look like old Alex Smith again. And if he don't, you just need to give it up with that leg, man. I don't know how he even back with that leg. But I'm just looking at some more wide receiver choices.
You wouldn't come back if you were making $30 million a year?
Yeah, I would. I would, but I'm just saying, shit, a damn knee, or legs. Ouch. I was thinking about that Alex Smith thing. Ouch, on me. And then this
leg hurts. Still be out there.
And then this the Rams receivers, I would play them this week against San Francisco. I would play Ram receivers. I would play Robert Woods, and who was the other one? You got Everett caught a touchdown, Higbee.
Cooper Kupp.
and whoever that third receiver is, whether it's Reynolds or Jefferson, who knows, man? You can try and get like a late game flyer on some of these Ram receivers and tight ends. If because it's a Sunday night game, so you might can get you some points Sunday night. Because I think it's going to be a high scoring affair because the 49ers right now can't stop anyone, and like I say in late night games like the Monday night, I think both of those games are going to be high scoring. Dallas has Mike Nolan. I don't, Mike Nolan was our linebackers coach last year. That's the reason why he's good at coaching linebackers, but he can't do a defense. He can't do a defense. So I would go, like I say, I would try to take a flyer on all these primetime games, as you call it, I guess. The Sunday and the 2 Monday night games. One thing COVID giving us is more games on Monday and even a Tuesday night game. That's one thing COVID is giving us, which is making you scramble so much. Fantasy.
Well, I had seen somebody put up a poll today, and they were like, what do you prefer, Tuesday night or Thursday night games? Me personally, I prefer the Tuesday night games because that's on regular TV.
Yeah, me too.
Thursday night games, you gotta have the NFL Network or you gotta stream it.
Well, the Tom Brady game came on the regular TV. They want you to see him. Well, we kind of went over waiver wire steals. With Fulgham, Claypool, Madison. You got any defenses you on your radar that's spot plays?
Yes.
Defenses you don't get no love around here.
So I had 2 of them. So the number one, Miami, they're playing the Jets, so that's an automatic start. Mm-hmm. And then the Giants. Now I know obviously Dak got hurt last week, and they had a defensive touchdown, but when you look at their fantasy points, they're actually a decent fantasy option. So I like the Giants as well.
I got the Colts defense against the Bengals. I just feel like the Bengals are just falling apart right now. Like AJ Green talking about he wants to be traded mid-game, and I think Joe Burrow, he's good. He's going to be a good quarterback later down the line when he leaves Cincinnati. But I will start the Colts if you have to against the Bengals. And we see who else. You already said the Giants.
So.
And I'm trying to see if any more. Because everybody else
who's Washington? Who's Washington playing?
Washington plays the Giants. They play the Giants.
So the Redskins, the football team, and the Giants defense, and then on top of that, Miami. Because those 3 should all be on waivers right now. So those would be my waiver watch deals for defense. I'm planning on picking them up on there too.
Actually, the Colts should be on there too. So, and I had to drop.
Colts are not on waiver though. They're not on waivers. They're the number 1 defense.
Man, they on one of my leagues. I guarantee you, they was in the waivers. The Colts defense was in the waivers. I was like, wow. So I try to put in for it. Let's hope I get it on Thursday. Let's see. Because I have the Saints and Cowboys in that league. So, my defense doesn't score. I have other players. So, in that league,
I want to ask you a question real quick. So, on waiver mornings, right? So, in my big money league, I got 2 friends who are both overseas right now. So, they're wide awake during the day when the waiver is processed through over here, which is like 4 in the morning. Do you ever just like randomly wake up and you're like, shit, let me check the waivers real quick?
I work night shift. So that's what I do my damage. I do my damage on the night shift. Man.
So
some leagues have waiver priority. So if you up there always on the waiver wire, it doesn't matter when you put it in. I hate those leagues there, like because you can't really be a vulture because someone has a higher priority than you. They come swoop in at the last minute and take it. But the ones without a waiver priority, yes, I am a vulture on the waiver wire. I'm like, yes, give it up.
So that's how I am. As soon as they process through at 4:00, because it says it's supposed to go through at 3:30, but I usually gotta wait till 4:30 for it to go through. So I'll just sit there for an hour, like, what the fuck am I doing awake? And then and then
that's the best time.
But then as soon as like everybody's, because I'm in this league, everybody's bid goes through. So we start off with $120 cap, and you bid on whichever waiver players you want, and whoever has the highest, they get the player. So I wait till everybody's bids go through. I mean, obviously I put in my few, and then I'm like, all right, now who's cuttable, who's still out there, who didn't get bid on, and then I go through it like that. But I don't know. I just always find myself waking up really early on those waiver days for whatever reason.
It so happened I have to work on those waiver days most times. Like like right now, I got to go to work. So on that Thursday morning, I'm gonna be on it. So I'm gonna be on it to see who they who they didn't get, and to see if mine came through. Because like I said, I'm in a couple 2 quarterback leagues, which is horrible. Like it's horrible. Like so. Dak was my quarterback in one of them, man. So it was like, I'm trying to scramble to get Andy Dalton. I'm scrambling to get Andy Dalton, so I'm praying for Andy Dalton to squeak through.
It's crazy because on another one of my dynasty leagues, I have Wilson on bye, and I had Joe Burrow, but I traded him for like Melvin Gordon and like a 2nd round pick, I think. And so I didn't have a backup quarterback. And I'm like looking at the waiver wire and I'm like, Nick Mullins, like who are these guys? So luckily I was able to get Andy Dalton this week off of waivers.
On one of my other ones, I had Tyrod Taylor. And so he went out. Obviously, the doctor took him out. So I've been surviving off of the Broncos QBs with ripping 1 week. Then I had to go and get Joe Flacco the other week. So it's like I don't know who I'm gonna get this week. I'm just praying for injuries. That's what I gotta do. Because like when you're in leagues like that, man, we do 2 quarterbacks and stuff, man. It's ridiculous. It's hard
especially when you start getting the dickheads that take 4 of them.
Yeah, I did that before. I ain't gonna lie, I was one of those dickheads last year. I just grabbed my first picks was like 5 of them, and my hopes was to trade to fill out the rest of my team. Shit, that was my hope. Like, you're gonna need a quarterback. It worked somewhat. I got some good players for some of these quarterbacks, but they made a rule that you can't hoard quarterbacks. So because people was getting mad about that, but it's hard to play in the league like that. I just like to play in challenging leagues, to challenge me.
I refuse to join the super flex with the 2 quarterbacks, and I don't like the tight end premium where they get more points per catch than a wide receiver. I think that's dumb. So,
oh man, I'm in a league like that, man.
Especially when most tight ends now are basically wide receivers. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Darren Waller. Like these guys, they're playing in the slot like they're receivers. Jimmy Graham was doing it for years when he was with y'all. Like,
yeah,
I think that's dumb. There's no reason why it should be tight end.
Like I'm in a league. I didn't know the league was gonna be like this. I'm in a league where they got DBs, linebackers,
IDP?
no defense. They got a whole defensive line, and like it's like the points are ridiculous. Like one game, Dak gave me 100 points. I'm like 100 points, like, and like you just gotta hope somebody has a big game, and it's hard.
What I think those leagues are is they probably make it every 10 yards is a point compared to 25. And then they probably have touchdowns at 6 points apiece as well.
And then PPR probably be PPR too. Like the receivers go off and the yard. I'm like, ain't no way Dak got 100 points, and I'm beating somebody with Dak. Just Dak.
I played in leagues where you get bonuses for like 40-yard touchdowns, 50, 60.
Yeah, I was in the league like that too.
I actually like
but
those.
I'm also in this archaic league that doesn't have a flex. So I'm in the range of leagues. I'm like, I try to get the guy that to put a flex in. We all try to, but he wants to go standard. I'm like like standard, no PPR, and it's no flex. I'm like, dude, the scores are like the average scores are like 90. Like it's pretty. You have 90 points, you have a good day because it's like you want to play.
That doesn't even sound fun to me. Like
it's not. It's like I have like Montgomery went up. I had like 15 points, and another person on the bench had 15 points. But I'm not going to bench Robinson and Elliott, Ezekiel Elliott, and then you got to choose between wide receiver. I'm like, why not just have a flex? That's not fun. That's like I can lose a game because I made the right fantasy play, but my people on the bench outscoring my people on the. I'm like, flexes are very important. I'm glad they put that in fantasy football. So.
Yeah.
Man, but before we get out here, you got any shout outs? Don't worry, I'm gonna do the push-ups with Nasty on since he put the push-up bet. Yeah, and I'll do that probably Friday. So don't worry, I ain't dodging my bet. I just know he want to see me do push-ups. So I'm gonna be fair to him. So, and like I said, I haven't wore Saints stuff. I wore a Saints colored shirt, but it wasn't a Saints shirt. So I got around the rules. Y'all didn't say it couldn't be Saints colors. You just said it couldn't be Saints.
So my first shout out is gonna go to Tom Brady. For one, he forgot how to count last week, and that was just great to see him just suffering on the field. Like I thought it was 4th down, and then now this week they asked him. They're like, what do you think Aaron Rodgers would have done if he was in your system in New England? He's like, he would have thrown for 7,000 yards. He would have like 7 rings. Like, he's fantastic. Like, he inspires me to work harder. So I just want to say shout out to Tom Brady for finally recognizing that Aaron Rodgers is better than him. That's why I got.
It could be a ploy. Don't anger the beast. You ever heard that? Don't anger the beast.
It's like, no. You know what he is? Washed. I can't wait. I can't.
Go ahead, Skip Bill and
Sunday. I can't wait for Sunday. I can't wait.
Man, I hope.
If Rodgers wins, whoever wins, that'll be whoever has a winning record against the other. Because right now it's 1-1.
I'm just like this. I can't root for either one. It's messed up because if the Bucks win, I get to go point and laugh and say, yeah, he took the L finally. Can't talk about undefeated no more and all that. But if y'all win, y'all help us out. So let's just end the time.
Your decision is pretty easy. I think your decision is pretty easy. But
you don't understand how much the hate is. So the hate is real. So
you don't have to hate on my team just because they beat
it's not
yours.
just because of you,
But
Brandon.
anyway.
You're actually like a sensible Packers fan. There's some Packer fans that I know that I'm tired of hearing this undefeated crap. So it's like, no.
I just can't wait till we beat the Titans.
Man, the COVID Titans. They have one L on their record.
I can't wait till. No,
they got one L.
Undefeated. I thought he was on today,
no, they
so
lost
that way
COVID.
he could raise his hand with me. But apparently COVID helped them.
I'm just saying they got 2 weeks to prepare, and the poor Bills had to prepare for the Chiefs and them. So that's a 3.5.
That's fine.
That's fine. They got 3.5.
Because Josh Allen dropped down in the MVP rankings yesterday. He played like shit. So,
I guess shout out for him for, I'm glad he's not on here because he like tightened up. He had the mask on. He had the hat. He was excited. I'm glad he missed the show because he's gonna come up here with tighten up, and like they had this whole thing on how the Titans are just like the Ravens, but probably better. Like how Tannehill, number 68, is actually a top 10 quarterback. That's what Colin said on Fox Sports. That number 68. I had to stop in my tracks. What he said there, he said number 68.
I ain't gonna lie, watching how he was playing last night, I was just like, he might be legit.
You heard the show.
He has if you look at his 14 starts for the Titans, he has like 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, like MVP numbers. Like he's been legit.
He been listening to the show. I think we added fuel to his fire because he came back and he gonna prove that he's better than 68. He had to, because like before we start going on this rant about him being number 68, and man, was it long? It was a long rant. I go back to look at some of them shows how we basically shitted on Ryan Tannehill. You making us eat our words now.
What I will say, that last touchdown to Jonnu Smith, that was some bullshit. He was way past that line. But I had Jonnu Smith in my fantasy league, so I needed that touchdown. So I was like, yeah, it's inconclusive.
Derrick Henry.
I had both.
Man, my shout out goes to Derrick Henry, man. You just shut up the first person ever to shut up Josh Norman. That's the first person to shut him up. He's never gonna live this down, man. It's like I seen Skip trying to say the Vance McDonald one was more impactful because the dude scored. I'm like,
I was at that game.
It was pretty nasty, but
I was at that game, and I just remember he picked them up and choke slammed them, and then he kept running and scored. And it was like a 70-yard touchdown. I was like, what the?
Yeah, that was nasty.
Crazy.
What Derrick Henry did. Derrick Henry had the man go sideways. He was sideways in the air. He was vertical at first, and then he turned sideways and did an elbow drop to the ground. I'm like, you don't see that. I'm like, it was crucial.
It made me mad because he didn't even get a first down off of that. I was like, how you not get?
That's the only thing. I think he was shocked because I was in the super. I was like, you got to get the game on the phone. So I'm on the supermarket. I just bust out ooh loud because it was ridiculous because he grabbed. I'm like, I said, no, he didn't just pick him up, had him sideways, and the man fell on the ground like this. I'm like, but why did he stop? I'm like, why did he just keep going? Like, if he kept going,
you need to stop. You need to stop because Nasty gonna come on Friday and be like, "Oh, so I heard what you were saying."
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's nothing you can, how he talk. Yeah, man, tighten up. Yeah, he y'all like that. that Derrick Henry stiff on. That's the king. That's how he talk. That's the king. So Let's not call him up because he's probably up there watching and laughing. But I gotta give him props. I didn't think they could beat the Bills. Like I'd have probably made another bet with him. I'd have probably been doing 40 push-ups, messing around with the doggone Bills. I thought the Bills was gonna go in there and stomp them. Shout out to them being y'all teams being undefeated. Shout out to the Saints for pulling one out their ass on Monday because they pulled it out their ass. That's all I can say about that. I had victory. I guess you say victory Tuesday. I couldn't even brag about it because I'm like, we pulled it out our ass. It was Justin Herbert.
Lost.
Yeah, and the King. Shout out to the King. They lost. But I like this. My defense looked good, damn good to say our offense didn't do shit for 4 quarters. I'm saying. They did what they needed to do.
Know, you let Etienne run for like 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Most of that came on that long run in the second half after they were tired. But they did what they needed to do. They called the fumble.
No, hold on, no. Because when they came out in the second half, you were like, "Yeah, we recharged, like we good." We come out here,
I'm just saying, I'm thinking the offense was going to at least score. I'm like, the offense wait till the end to start turning up, and it's like, look, the defense, you can call defense special teams, scored a touchdown at the end of the half. They did. They blocked 2 kicks. It almost blocked another one. I'm like, and they got a fumble. They popped the hell out of Trevor Lawrence and made him fumble. And they hurt Trevor Lawrence. And I'm like, they did everything they were supposed to do. The damn offense didn't do shit. I don't know what the hell they were calling. Kept trying to run up the middle of the field. I'm like, why are you trying to keep running up the middle? That's what I do with Manny Diaz. Like, y'all just want me to do push-ups. That's what y'all want to do. That's the game plan y'all want to do. And I'm like, we got the better tight ends and we didn't use them. And our receivers couldn't catch a ball to save their life. But I'm proud of my damn defense. Shout out to the Canes defense. At least we didn't lose to Mississippi State, and we didn't lose to who else LSU lost to, because these damn LSU fans getting on my nerves too. Damn, who did they lose to? Missouri. At least we didn't lose to Missouri. We lost to the number 1 team in the nation. So at least my Canes ain't worse than LSU. That's all I can say.
All I can say is I'm ready for this Big Ten football to come back. I believe they start back this weekend, so we're gonna see real teams play finally.
The slow 10. The slow 10. Go watch some real
This where real NFL players come from. You know, Russell Wilson came from there, probably one of the top quarterbacks this year. TJ Watt, you know, he's the highest rated defensive player this year. So
half the Saints defense. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, Marshawn Lattimore, he came from there. You saw how he got what happened to him. He came from right there. Look, Mike Thomas came from there. He punched your teammates in the face. So did Malcolm Jenkins getting beat. we can name him just off the Saints.
Yeah.
Take the good with the bad.
Well, that's y'all fault. Y'all putting them in a position to be vulnerable and get exposed.
Because they can't cover.
Nobody want no 36-year-old Malcolm Jenkins. Man, you can't even use Malcolm Jenkins in Madden because he has like 82 speed. Like he's unusable.
I am excited to see Michigan again though. My cousin Ryan is a big Michigan fan. I almost was a Michigan fan until I saw Miami back in the days beating everybody ass, and that's when I became a Miami fan. I was almost a Michigan fan. Almost.
Yeah, we beat the fuck out of them last year.
I don't hate Michigan.
Out of Michigan. It was bad.
And I also want to shout out my Tulane Greenway. Even though we lost, we still got a better record than the LSU. Shout out. That is. Shout out to y'all. Green background, green everything. That's what I'm talking about. That's funny. My only team in football that don't wear green is the Saints. Damn, Tulane wear green, in Miami wear green. I couldn't be a Packers fan. I'm sorry, couldn't do it. There's a lot of people in New Orleans are Packers fans, but I couldn't do it.
It's too much greatness for you to handle. I understand.
Nah, it's not too much greatness. It's just that they was always boring to me. Like, shit, watch the Packers games. I used to go to sleep. Shit, I'm just being honest. They were fucking bored. I just thought they were boring.
Hey, I mean, if that's what Hall of Fame. If that's what Hall of Fame quarterbacks make you feel like,
I'm just saying. I thank Brett Favre for giving us our first championship, for throwing us into the first championship. Hey, I'm all for y'all up. All y'all got to do is run the ball and kick a field goal to the Vikings, and y'all be in there. But the last time we beat the Vikings in the playoffs. Hey.
Look, I don't care about that version of Brett Favre. That has nothing to do with me or my team.
Oh, you talking about? Brett Favre, Lambeau Leap. Okay, he was exciting me.
That's when. So when Brett Favre went to Minnesota, I remember driving past the gas stations, and there was messages on the signs that said, "We'll never forget you, Brent." That's how much the state of Wisconsin hated him for going to Minnesota.
Well, I don't think we had anybody. I think when Joe Horn went to the Falcons, but everybody knew he was washed in, so we didn't care.
Joe.
Shout out for Joe Horn for snubbing Brandon. Brandon, when you gonna let that go, man? When you gonna let that go?
Never.
Come on, man. If I can get Joe Horn on the show, man, would you let it go there?
If he hands me a football.
We gonna have to find this out, man. But
I want that bitch game used. I want it game used, and I want to know that Brett Favre touched it.
But usually it would be Aaron Brooks touched it though, because they usually use the football of their own. They don't use the Packer football, huh?
Yeah, you're right. But I was like 11, so I didn't know at the time that they each had their own, set of football. So I would have been like, "Yeah, this is game used by Brett Favre."
Game touch football. He was a Packer.
No, he was a Packer. He was a Packer. I guess. You know what? Whatever. It's acceptable. I'm gonna just throw that bitch anyway.
We're gonna have to go find you. We're gonna find him a Joe Horn, Aaron Brooks football. So anybody out there that can find us a Joe Horn and Aaron Brooks touch football, man, we'll be greatly appreciated that you send it to Brandon so he can let this grudge go against Joe Horn. Leave Hollywood Horn alone.
If you can give me that football, I will let the grudge go.
We're gonna have to go through channels and see if we can reach Joe Horn, man, and see if we can get you a football. Well, tune into 11-year-old Brandon still holding on grudges about football. But tune into us on Friday. We're gonna have more, like sports topics to talk about, and also me doing push-ups because the damn cane sold out. Shit. It's your boy Mo Young, Brandon, and I'm glad Nasty didn't come because we didn't want to hear his gloating. And we'll see y'all Friday with more sports news. Remember, we bring the smoke here at Venom and Smoke. Peace.
Go Packers.